Good morning, viewers. You are welcome to my video. I hope you enjoyed my last video. Today we shall be talking about well testing. Well testing is an interesting topic. I know you are going to enjoy it. Those of you who are following me, you are going to enjoy the topic on well testing. So this morning we want to say, what is well testing? What is well testing? Now, I want to define well testing as a process of using special tools and techniques to gather information about what is happening inside the well. Now, I take it again. Well testing is a process of using special tools and techniques to gather information about what is happening down in the oil well. Now, well testers or well test operators, they use special instruments, special equipment, to gather information on a particular well. They gather information on a particular well, and these informations or data, you can call it information or you call it data. These informations or data is used to determine the performance of the well. When a well is functioning, there are certain things the owners of the well need to know about the well. So there are certain information, and these informations are being given by well testers. So we'll say that the data that is gotten from the well testing is used to determine the performance of the well, as the production of the well is measured within a period of time. All right. So every well tester, its aim and purpose is to find out, to get information about a particular well, to know the performance of that well, and these findings is being measured within a period of time. Now we shall look at reasons for testing an oil well. There are reasons. Why should we test an oil well? An oil well that is producing, why should we test an oil well? Now, one of the reasons why we should test an oil well is that an oil well, one of the reasons is well testers or well testing operators use surface and subsurface equipments. Now, well testers use surface and subsurface. What we mean by surface: if it's surface, then it is onshore. If it's subsurface, then it is offshore. Of course, we know that onshore is in the land. When we are well testing in the land, when we are carrying out some tests in the land, that is onshore. When we are carrying well testing inside the sea, is known as offshore. So well testers use surface and subsurface equipment to test initial pressure from the drill hole. So well testers try to find out the initial pressure. When a well is being used, as the oil, as the crude is coming out from the wellhead, there's a pressure that flows out down from the hole, and it comes out. That particular pressure, the well testers they will find out that pressure and know the type of pressure, the amount of pressure that is coming from that particular well, and that is what we know as well bore pressure. And now, number two, one of the reasons why we test well is that to know the quantity of oil produced per unit of time. Now, well testers or well test operators, one of their work is to know the quantity of oil each well produces. If they are testing that particular oil, they should be able to know, one of their aim is to know the quantity of oil that particular well produces in a given period of time. Let's say if it produces 10 barrels of oil, let's say in a day, so they can be able to know that in 10 days this is the number of barrel of oil that particular well is meant to produce. So that is one of the things they found out. So that is it, and we'll call it production rate. The production rate. And number 3 thing the well testers do, one of the things that make them to test oil wells, number 3 is to know the salt content. To know the salt content of the crude oil, which was formed because of pressure, temperature changes as the fluid flow up to the production equipments. Now, as the fluid flows from the equipment down from the well to the equipments to the surface, that's to the earth, as it flows, there are pressures. That pressure, there are temperature changes that happen because of maybe the weather and other things. The temperature changes that happens as the oil flows out. Now those changes, and as the oil flows out from the equipment, the changes causes salt content. So we say that the salt content in that particular crude is being known, is being measured, is being discovered, tested and discovered by the well testers. So that is one of the things, one of the benefits, to know the salt content of the crude, which was formed because of pressure, temperature changes as the fluid flow up to the production equipments, and that's what we call saline percentage. So they are able to find out the salt content. So that is one of the things the well testers find out. So as you can see, well testing is interesting topic. And another thing, another benefit or another reasons why they test well is to evaluate the flow capacity. The well testers try to evaluate the flow capacity of the fluid to the reservoir. The flow capacity as the crude is coming. Of course, when you have a fence round up, you build a fence round and you put water, you pump water inside that fence. As you keep pumping water inside that fence, the water keep growing. Of course, the water will try to look for a way to come out because the fence, is within the confines of the fence. The pressure of the water will try to find a means to come out. That's exactly what is happening down inside the well. So when the drillers drill and burst into that earth where they pass through earth, different layers of the earth, and they pass and get water, and they push down, they pass and get the layers that is covering the oil. As they drill further, as they push further, they burst in where the crude is. So there is a pressure that comes, a pressure as the water try to push out from the confines of the fence. So also the oil will try to push out because now it has gathered under the earth for so long. So you try to push out. So as they drill it open, there is a pressure that comes. As the oil comes, it comes with a pressure. So the oil testers, they try to evaluate the flow capacity so that they will know the type of equipment they will use, so that the equipment that the oil can pass through. If the let's say if the oil that flows from the well comes at, let me say, 1000 psi, that is the pressure. Now they don't need to use an equipment that is less than 1000 psi. If not, the pressure will burst the equipment and there will be hazard. So a higher equipment will be used, that is higher than the pressure that comes from the oil well. So they try to evaluate the flow capacity or the fluid to the reservoir, because the oil flows from the oil well to the reservoir. A reservoir is where the oil is being kept when it comes out from the oil well. It is being where it flows to. That's called reservoir. Now, and they also try to know the minimum reservoir volume per period of time. The minimum reservoir volume. what the reservoir carries, the amount of oil the reservoir carries in a period of time. They will be able to know that this particular reservoir, this is the amount of oil it carries in a period of time. All right, another reason why well testers test well is to collect fluid sample. That's one of their primary aim, to collect fluid sample. The well testers are there to collect fluid sample to test different types of things in the well. Sometimes they pour the oil, allow the oil to flow into a hole, and they take sample of the oil to carry out their different tests. So they collect sample to know positive or negative skin effect. Positive or negative skin effect through pressure distribution. Now, as the oil flows, as the oil comes on, as the oil flows from the oil well through the equipment or through the well bore, there is a friction. There's a friction. As oil flows, there's a friction. Now, increase in flow restriction near the well bore is positive, and decrease in flow resistance near the well bore is negative. Now there's a certain amount of pressure that is expected to flow from the oil well, from the oil well equipment. Now, as the well is flowing on the equipment or on the well bore, as it's flowing, there is a restriction. There is a restriction from the body as the well is flowing. When the restriction is rough, for example, as a layman explanation, now the flow of oil will be restricted. But when it is smooth, it flows smooth, it moves faster. Because so that's what we mean by skin effect. That's what we mean by skin effect. I believe in my next video I will explain better. I will explain well in that area. It has a lot of explanations. But just know that when there is increase in flow restriction near the well bore, it is positive, and when there is decrease in flow resistance near the well bore, it is negative. That is it. So another reasons why we well testers test well is to identify the behavior of the fluid at rest and in emotion. There is a behavior. There is a behavior. We call it behavior of the fluid. It is the responsibility of the well testers to know the behavior of the fluid that comes out, the fluid that flows from the oil well. There is a behavior. There is where it behaves. It is their duty to find out the behavior of the oil, the fluid, when it is in motion, as it's flowing, its behavior. They use their special equipment to find its behavior when it is in motion, as it's flowing, and when it is at rest, especially in the oil reservoir. So these are the functions, these are the benefits, or these are the reasons why we test oil well. I hope you find it interesting. So that is it. And another thing we shall look at before we go finally, we shall look at some of the equipments that we use in well testing. There are equipments, special equipments. Some of the equipments are computerized, some of them are manually, some of them is being used to make sure that the measurement is being carried. And most of those equipment, let's take for instance, we are looking at surface equipment used in well testing. We are talking of onshore equipment used in well testing. Of course, these onshore equipments, they are a little bit different from offshore equipment, because that one is used inside the water, but it's the same function. So we're going to look at the onshore equipment used in well testing. Now, one of the equipments that well testers use is called surface test tree. Surface test tree. You can call it a Christmas tree. Either you call it a surface test tree, call it a Christmas tree. This surface test tree, is used to regulate the flow of oil from the oil well. It can be used to shut down the flow of oil from the oil well. In this subsequent teaching, we are going to be looking at, we are going to treat them one after the other, their functions. But let's just look at it today. We're going to treat it, their functions, what they do in detail. That is another subsequent teachings. Now, another equipment they also use is what we call surface safety valve. This safety valve is a valve. Local man will call it tap, but it is a hydraulically actuated. It is hydraulically actuated. Okay, the surface safety valve is hydraulically actuated. So when it is on, when pressure is being released, then the surface safety valve will open, thereby allowing oil from the oil well to flow out through the equipment. And when it is being bleeded off, then it will shut down to stop the oil well from flowing, stop the oil or the crude from flowing from the oil well. Another equipment that well testers use is what we call data header. This one is very, very important. Data headers, data headers are used to test oil. There are gauges mounted on the data header. Those gauges are used to measure oil. They are used to know the amount of pressure that flows in a particular oil well. Pressure is being discovered through the gauge in the data header. Measurement is taken to know the pressure, initial pressure that flows on the oil well, and other things. We shall, in other videos, we shall talk more about it. Another equipment that is used, special equipment, is what we call choke manifold. The choke manifold is also used by well testers. Choke manifold. And what is it? What is choke manifold? Choke manifold is a special mechanical equipment that is used to reduce the pressure, the flow of oil from the oil well. It's used to regulate. As the oil comes, the choke, as the name means choke, it chokes the oil. It reduces the pressure. It regulates the pressure. You want it in a particular pressure, or you to flow in a particular pressure. You can use it. The choke manifold, it can be fixed. It can be varied. We have variable choke manifold. We have fixed. So it's used to reduce the pressure of oil that flows in equipment. Now, another surface equipment that is used in well testing is the steam heat exchanger. Steam heat exchanger. It's an equipment that is used to heat up, a crude, heat up an oil, to help to separate it. When the oil comes, it comes out with different things. It comes out with sand, it comes out with gas, it comes out with water. It helps to heat to separate, able to separate, to help it to separate. As it moves, it heats it to enable, as it flows, it will be able to easy to separate. So we shall treat about it later. And then another one is what we call test separator. Now, when the oil flow to the test separator is what separates the oil. Separates the gas, keep it one side. Separates the water, keep it one side. Separates sound, keep it one side. It is called test separator. It's used to separate oil. As the oil comes at its flow, as it comes with the pressure, it comes with different particles. The test separator is there to separate it before it can now pass through to our equipment to the reservoir. Now, vertical such tank is another type of equipment, special equipment used by well testers. Vertical such tank. This particular tank is used to store a separated oil, to store the crude, to measure and to store the crude. The crude is being stored, and there is a measurement on the body. It's called vertical such tank. It's a tank used to store liquid and also measure liquid. There's a measurement that will tell you the amount of psi or bar of liquid that is in that particular such tank. I hope you are enjoying the topic. So another special equipment that is also used is the one we call oil transfer pumps. There are pumps. Of course, you know what a pump is. A pump is a mechanical device or a mechanical equipment that suck a fluid or suck air and discharge it to another place. And when it suck air or suck fluid, it does not allow the fluid to return back. It sucks and discharge. It sucks and discharge. That is the function of the pump. So the oil transfer pump is used to suck an oil. It suck a crude. It suck it and transfer it from one place to another. That is the function. I have another important equipment here known as oil diverter manifold. Oil diverter manifold. And now this particular diverter, as the name implies, diverter manifold is used in a situation where you want to, for example, if the oil is moving towards A direction and you want to divert the oil from the A direction to the B direction. That is when we use this equipment. Oil diverter manifold is used to divert oil from one place to another. Maybe the place the oil is diverting, that line has developed a fault. Maybe there is a fault in that line. What you need to do is to shut down that particular, use it to divert that oil, to divert it from that place to another area, so they can repair that particular, that area that has fault. So it is used to divert oil from one particular area to another, from one pipeline to another pipeline. That is it. Now we have another one. The last but not the least, one of the equipments that is used also by well testers is burner. Burner is a source of energy. Burner, is used. It produces energy and it is used. It burns. It produces heat. It is a heat source. It's used in well testing field. So these are the some of the equipments we are able to mention for you today. There are other equipments that are computerized, that are electronically manufactured and used. Those equipments are also used in well testing environment or well testing industry. So this is where we are going to stop today. I hope you enjoyed the class. I want you to follow us up. Subscribe to this channel. Follow us every Saturday. We'll give you teachings on oil and gas training. We'll give you teachings. Please subscribe to my channel. Follow us up every Saturday. We post videos. Come to this channel, come to this place and learn. Even if you are in the field already, it will help you to gather more information to add to your own information. Please subscribe to this channel. I love you. See you next week. Bye. God bless you. Is this your first time visiting my channel? Please click on the red subscribe button and the bell close to it. Subscription is free. Thank you.